Hi everyone, welcome back. This is lesson number 3 for the Healing Our Spirits Fiddle program. Hope you're all happily practicing the past few weeks. I can't believe we are we're actually you're going to be in a month into this now, a month of fiddle playing. And I hope you've been enjoying yourself and trying to relax while playing. We don't want any stiff fiddle players. So then this third lesson here, we're going to talk a little bit more about the bow. We are going to introduce our first tune, the 7-step. You're going to learn a little bit about the tab notation methods, and we'll learn the G major scale today together, which is the scale you're going to need for the 7-step. So yeah, if you haven't tuned your fiddle already, please pause the video and tune up your fiddle. That's a whole thing of learning curve, is definitely tuning up your fiddle. So yeah, tune it up, and we'll do a bit of a recap from the previous lesson. Last lesson we focused quite a bit on the bow, and we went through plucking our hot cross buns to adding the bow on hot cross buns. So I hope you've been practicing the bow with hot cross buns. By now you should be able to squeak out hot cross buns on your fiddle using your bow. So yeah, we'll play it a few times through just right now, and but first we'll pluck it, and then we'll do a couple of bow warm-up exercises, and then we'll go from there. So let's first work on our bow, and then we will pluck and get ready for our hot cross buns. So let's use our pencil, make the number 4, fist, bunny ears, slide that pencil underneath, flip that thumb out. The thumb should be kind of in between or parallel with that middle finger. Wrap the first finger down, and then pinky rests on top. So let's do that with the bow. Tighten your bow if you haven't already done so. So we'll be ready to go. Remember, it should be about a pencil width thick, your bow. Actually, let me show you with the pencil. So you should be able to put that pencil in there and not have it touch. So that's what we're aiming for. Okay, now we'll put our bows, the hair facing to the floor. Make our number 4, fist, bunny ears, bunny teeth, grab on to that frog. Your thumb will go into the mouth of the frog, point your finger down, pinky rests on top. Okay, let's play a few times, let's do a couple of bow exercises. I want to really jump into that hot cross buns. Let's do a couple of bow exercises. So we're going to do our windshield washer wiper, I should say. Okay, you're just going to go back and forth a few times. Make sure that our bow hold is proper. If your bow hold is ever not, if you feel like you're going to drop it, just reset with your bunny ears or whatever, and reset. Just reset every time. So a couple things to watch for with your bow. Your pinky sometimes will want to go underneath, right? We want to make sure that our pinky's on top. Pinky actually does a pretty good job of controlling, especially that upward motion. So making sure your pinky's on top and not underneath, because it's not doing anything down here underneath. So yeah, that's one thing. Another thing to look out for is your thumb flattening like this, right? We don't want our thumbs flat. We want them gripped in there, right? We want our knuckles to be showing. It's another thing to look out for. Another thing to look for is your thumb not in the mouth of the frog, your thumb down here, and you're just kind of gripping this. You're just holding on to this like you'd hold on to a spoon. I mean, we're gonna try really hard to have that bow hold as much as possible. So if you find yourself doing any of those things, or if your hand starts to get really stiff, you know, just take a break, shake it out, and then reset your bow holds. And yeah, and then continue practicing or continue on. So again, a little bit more about motion of the bow. This is probably the hardest thing is the motion and using this bow. It's probably the most complex part. It's definitely a lifelong journey on using your bow, and learning to do it skillfully and also sensitively. So you can expect, especially in the first year, I would say, to not be afraid of those squeaks and scratches that you're producing. I was definitely a scratchy, squeaky fiddle player. I would say probably the first year or two. So yeah, just acknowledge that those squeaks and scratches are gonna happen, and just keep playing, and recognizing that those squeaks or scratches are happening, and that you just weren't focusing on that one thing, you know, and yeah, and just gotta keep playing. So the screeches and scratches hopefully are not going to last you forever, as long as you practice proper bow technique, you know, holding it properly, and practicing proper motions of the bow, and a couple of pointers on the bow and the motion of the bow. Can't stress enough, let gravity do what it does best in pulling. So, you know, you don't have to be very forceful in your bow strokes. Let your gravity do the work. So if I can only, you know, instill a few things with helping you out on your bow technique, I would say first of all is to relax. We don't want anything really tight. Yeah, so just relax, and then think about moving, like when you have your fiddle up, think about moving only your forearm. So if you see, like I'm just air fiddling right now, but you see that my whole arm, my shoulder is not moving. I'm not playing like this, right? When I'm playing, I'm just moving pretty much just my forearm, and my elbow is hinging that movement. And so my wrist is hinging a little bit too. Okay, so just mainly move from the forearm and hinge at the elbow, and use control and smooth motions, right? Smooth motions. You don't want to do things fast, right? You want to just slowly control your bow, little bit by little bit. And of course, keep parallel from your bridge. Play in the middle between your bridge and your fingerboard, right in here. And mostly use the middle of your bow for now, when you're playing a tune. But of course, try to practice with long bows as much as you can, from tip all the way down to your frog, on every string, because it's important for your brain to understand what your fingers and the motion feels like in different strings and different positions. So those are just some helpful tips. Okay, let's do a couple more of those bow exercises that we learned last week. Let's do the rainbow. All right, we're going to do the rainbow, where you go down across all strings, all 4 strings, 1 bow stroke, and then up all across on 1 bow stroke. Here we go, starting on the G string, about lower middle half of your bow. Here we go, nice and slow, controlled movements. Here we go, ready, 2, 3, go. And then up. One more time. Again. Okay. If you need to practice that a couple more times, pause the video and please practice that one. Now we're going to do a couple of more bow exercises. A couple of repeat after me's. So we'll do 4 strokes on the D and then 4 strokes on the A and then back to D for 4 strokes. Here we go, starting on a down bow, D string. See that it's kind of bottom middle of my bow that I'm starting with, and I'm definitely parallel. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you need to pause and rewind and do that one again, please do. We're going to move on and do 2 on the D, 2 on the A, 2 on the D, 2 on the A, the teeter-totter one. We're going to try to do it as slow as we can. Here we go. 3, 2, ready, go. Back to D. All right, let's try to make that one twice as fast. Same thing. 3, 2, ready, go. D, D, A, A, D, Okay, so that was our little warm-up. You can do one more. We're gonna go D, all right, we're gonna add the E string in there because we're gonna need it. It's a couple notes on the E string for our next tune. So starting on the D, here we go. We're gonna go D, D, A, A, E, 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 A, A, D, D, and we can repeat. Okay, here we go. We're going to try it slow first, and then we'll do it double time. So, 3, 2, ready, go. D, D, A, E, E, A, A. Let's repeat that one more time. D, D, A, A, E, E, A, A, D, D. Okay, so gotta remember my own rules to relax, right? Let's introduce our song we're gonna do, or our tune we're gonna learn. This one we're gonna play, and we're gonna learn this series of classes is called the 7-Step. So the 7-Step is a Métis dance tune, and it's one that's done at social gatherings. There's different ways to do it, in a line, in a circle, or whatever. It's usually a partner dance, and it's one that's kind of cool to dance because it's kind of like the speed dating of back in the Voyageur times, because you actually switch partners. So you switch, the ladies move, or the ladies' side of the dance moves. So you get to actually meet a whole bunch of new people. So yeah, the 7-Step, little tidbit. It's actually a tune, a folk traditional tune that's known in many parts of the traditional fiddle culture world. And I actually found out that it's done in Sweden. So the Swedish do a 7-step type dance, and they play this tune, the 7-step, as well. But we're gonna learn the Métis version of this tune for this series of classes. And I always figure if I teach enough people the 7-step, then that means I get to actually go and dance instead of play for the dances. So hoping you guys you'll pick this one up quick, and I'll be able to swap you in, tag you in for the next dance. So yeah, so we're gonna learn the 7-step. I thought I would introduce to you a little bit about what we're going to be doing. So this is tab sheet music. I thought I would just briefly chat to you about tabs. This is the 7-step tabs, and as you can see over here, it says the string names G, D, A, and E. And these are the finger placements, right? That we talked about, you know, first finger, second finger, third finger on your fiddle, first finger, second finger, third finger, that are all kind of written out. So you'll notice the first 4 notes there is the third finger on D 4 times, right? So that would be playing D3 4 times. So yeah, for this class, we're gonna take things kind of slow. This one, we're just gonna focus on the first 2 bars, first 2 bars of this, and then we'll progress further next lesson, and we'll take them, you know, 2 to 4 bars at a time, and by lesson 6 we should have it all clean and clear, and you should be all I'll be able to play the 7-step for me to dance. Okay, so we got the tab sheet music. But first I'm gonna play this tune. And as we did with our hot cross buns, listening to a tune a few times and having that tune in your head, super important for learning tunes by ear. And learning our tunes by ear is something that is traditional way of learning and traditional way of teaching. You can write things down as much as you want, either with tabs or, you know, classical musical notation, but the essence of the tune is lost when you write it down. You don't get all those little nuances from playing and from learning that tune by ear. So we're gonna focus and try our best to learn this the traditional way by ear. So that means you have to listen to this tune as much as possible. If you're gonna be able to play it, you have to be able to hear it in your head and be able to replicate that sound that you're humming or playing in a reel in your head. You have to be able to replicate that on the fiddle, right? So hot cross buns, super easy. You can right away you can be like hot cross buns, and then be able to replicate on that and try to figure out the tone that you're singing and replacing that and mimicking that with the tone on the fiddle. So we have to be able to do that with the 7-step. So one way to do that is is listening to this bunch of times. So we're gonna listen to it at least just 2 times for now, and then we'll go from there. All right, here we go. The 7-step. Was the 7-step. I'm going to play it a couple more times, really get that tune in your head. This time, when I play the 7th step, I want you to try to hum along with it, okay? Hum along with it and visualize those notes as they're happening. Okay, here we go. 7th step, easy version. Again. Okay, there's the 7th step. Hope you were singing along or humming along. If not, you better pause, rewind, and do it a few more times. If you think you got that tune in your head, even if you haven't, we're going to be doing this over and over and over again from this point on. The rest of the lessons will be focused pretty much purely on this tune, breaking it up step by step, bar by bar. And of course, we're going to be learning to pluck the notes first, not using our bows, right? So practicing plucking, so we understand where our fingers are supposed to be first, really ingraining that in our brains, and then we will add the bow afterwards for every section. So every lesson from now on, we're going to do bars 1 and 2 today. We're going to pluck it first, and then we're going to add the bow to it. And then so lesson 4, 5, and 6, by the end of lesson 6, we'll have lots of 7-steppers. Before we can learn the first couple of bars of the 7th step, I think it's really important to, especially for beginner players, to practice the scale, okay? So if we're talking a little bit about music, different scales, different keys, different tunes will be in different keys. This one's in G, sometimes they're in D or A, or sometimes they're really funky, they're like B flat and all kinds of fun things. So these keys matter because they matter where you place your fingers, right? It matters if you have, in the key of D, sometimes you'll have a 2. Your middle finger will change places depending on what string it's on, and the way we can figure that out is by doing a scale. So I'm going to play for you the G major scale, just so you can hear what it sounds like. Then we're going to pluck. We're going to learn to pluck the G major scale, and then we'll add the bow to it. So just sit back for now. Don't try to play. You can try to pluck along if you want, but just listen to the G major scale. Here we go. Starting on open G. Low 2. Another low 2. And then we're going to go down the scale. Ooh, low 2. That I forgot about. G major scale. It's a little funky. Essentially, what's going to happen is we're going to have a high. Your 1 stays the same, right, for every string, and so does your 3. Your 2 on the G string is going to be your high 2. On the D string, it's going to be a high 2. On your A string, it's going to be a low 2, which means it's close to 1. Okay, close to your first finger. And the same thing goes with your E string. It's close to your first finger. So let's learn the G major scale. We're going to pluck that one first. Here we go. Get our plucking positions ready. I'm going to turn to face the camera a little better so you can see. Here we go. Starting on the lowest string, the G string, or the one furthest to the left. Here we go. So essentially with the scale, we're just going to keep adding fingers all the way up. And then to go down the scale, you remove fingers. Okay, here we go. Starting on the open G. First finger, high 2, open D, first finger, high 2, open A, first finger, low 2 this time, which means it's close to 1, open E, first finger, and then another low 2. Okay, now we can go down. So second finger on E, first finger, open E, 3 fingers on A, a low 2 here, 3 fingers on D, a high 2, all 3 fingers on G, high 2, 1, open. Okay, how was that? Did you get that done? Practice that a few more times. 1, 2, 3, open D, high 2s, open A, now you're going to have low 2s, 2, low 3, open E, 1, and a low 2. And that's where we stop our scale for the G. We're going to go down, 2, 1, open E, 3 fingers on A, a low 2, 3 fingers on D, 3 fingers on G, and then that's our G major scale, everyone. Let's try adding the bow to that one. This will be fun. Okay, make sure your bow is tightened. You got that nice bow hold, right? Get your nice bow holds. Put your fiddles up, and we are going to play the G major scale using long full bows, nice and slow. Here we go, open G. First finger, second finger, it's a high 2, open D, first finger, high 2, third finger, open A, first finger, low 2, which means it's close to 1, 3, open E, low 2. We're going to go down. Low 2s. that is our G major scale, which is important to know where our fingers are going to be placed for our next song of the 7th step. So, as we said, we're only going to focus for this lesson on the first 2 bars of this 7th step. So let me play it to you one more time, and then we'll break down our first 2 little sections of the 7th step. So this would be a good time to listen, but also to hum along, if you didn't do it already. The 7th step. Play it one more time, a little quicker. I hope that tune's nice and in your head. And if it's not in your head yet, please try to get it in your head before next lesson. Let's get right into this. We are going to learn the 7th step. Let's put our bows down, and we'll just focus on the fingers first, and then of course we'll pick up the bow and learn that afterwards. So, practicing our nice holds here. Let's pluck the first 2 bars of the 7th step. So here we go. The first 4 notes are all the same. It's the 3rd finger on your D string, right? Second one from the left when you're looking straight down. Okay, here we go. 3rd finger on D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's our first 4 notes. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Okay, let's put it down. Let's look at what's our next bar. Our next bar, we have a little bit going on here. We're going to be on the D string. We're going to do a quick switch to the A and then back to the D, okay? So it looks like it's the 2nd finger on D, 3rd finger on D, open A, 2nd finger on D, and 3rd finger on D. Okay? Here we go. This is going to be trickier with the bow than with plugging. Let's do the next bar. Make sure you're nice and relaxed. Okay, 2nd bar. We are going to start on the 2nd finger on D, And we're going to do a quick A, remember? Right in the middle. Second finger on D. Here we go. And then third finger. Open A. Make sure you take all your fingers off. Second finger on D. And then third finger on D. Okay? Now, it's important you take all your fingers off for that quick switch to the A, because when you have your bow, you're not going to be able to keep your fingers down at first when you're a beginner fiddler. You're going to get a really, really, really nice squeak if you leave your fingers down and try to switch back to the A and then back to the D. So, if you tried to cheat, try not to. Here we go. Second bar again. D2, D3, open A, second finger on D, and then third finger on D. Good. Remember that this second finger on the D string is going to be a high 2, which means the high 2 means that my second finger is close to my third finger. Okay. Let's shake that out. We're going to do that section one more time and then we'll put them together. So, second finger on D. Here we go. 2, 3, open A, T2, D3. One more time. 2, 3, open A, 2, 3. All right. Let's add those two sections together with our plucks. Our little plucks. First bar had 4 notes in it and they were all third finger on D. Here we go. 3, 4, 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Let's do that one again. Might have to shake it out. Here we go. 3, 2, ready, go. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Okay. Now, you see, it's really important to have all 3 fingers down, right? When we're doing our D3s. Because look what comes right up, right after the D3 is the D2. If we didn't have if we just had our third finger by itself, you'd have to place, and you'll be a really slow fiddler if you don't have all your fingers down all at once. Okay, let's practice that one more time and then we will add our bows. Here we go. Third finger on the D string. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, open, 2, 3. One more time, we might need to slow it down. 3, 2, ready, go. Third finger. Okay. If you feel comfortable that you have those 2 bars down, proceed on with the video. If you need to pause and rewind about a couple minutes and practice plucking the notes, please go back and review those. And we really want, before you add your bow, it's always best to make sure that you're confident in your fingers before you add the bow as much as possible. All right, let's add this bow. Remembering our bow holds, it's best always to set up your bow first and then add your fiddle later. 4 bunny ears eating the freaking chocolate. There we go. And we got that over. Okay, making sure a couple white washer wipers. Making sure we got control of that. It's a good test. If you can do this, then you have control of your bow. Okay, let's add our bow to the first 2 bars. Okay, putting up our fiddles. First, second, third finger on D. Remember, each note, right, it's going to have its own bow stroke. We're going to start with 4 relatively short ones. That's what we are aiming for, okay? So keep them medium short, right? I want you to use that whole middle section of that bow as much as possible. Here we go. Third finger on D. We're going to go nice and slow. 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Okay, a couple more times. Let's do it again. All right. Practice makes perfect. We'll do it one more time. All right. So if you need to do that 20 more times, please do. That's what you're supposed to be doing as a student. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Can't emphasize that enough. We're going to review some homework. If you don't do anything else this week, but listen to the 7-step a million times, then do that. We really want, I can't emphasize how important it is to have that fiddle tune in your head before you learn it. So I'm going to play the 7-step once through slow and then sort of medium tempo right at the end of this video, just so you can always find it. Lesson number 3, last 2 minutes of the video is going to be the 7-step. Listen to that 20 times at least. I would say 20 times. A couple times humming, or a couple times just listening, a couple times just humming, and you'll be well on your way in preparing for next week's class. Or next lesson. Of course, keep practicing your bow, doing your bow exercises, the windshield wiper, practicing just holding on to this thing, practicing with the pencil, and then doing those different bow exercises that we did at the beginning of this class and last class as well. The rainbow, and then doing different patterns, 4 strokes on the D, 4 strokes on the A, 4 strokes on the E, and then repeat those a bunch of times. I also would love it if you guys could pluck your G major scale and then give it a shot with the bow. So. Plucking it and then adding the bow afterwards. And then of course practice your first 2 bars of your very brand new tune, the 7-step. definitely always best practice with the plucking first, and then adding the bow after. Okay, and that's it for this week. It's a big ask, so keep practicing. Happy fiddling, and I'll get to the 7th step right after this. Okay, here's the 7th step. I'm going to play it slow, and then I'm going to play it up to medium speed, just so that you can get this tune in your heads. Nice and slow first. Here we go. Medium pace now. All right, see you next class.